Aloha, y'all. It is the 18th of October. Today is a Sunday ruled by the sun, and it is a crown chakra day. Sahasrara chakra. This is about all in the one in the all. Those are an infinite number of Om symbols. This is your connection to divinity in an avatar state, if you want to put it that way. So Sahasrara, do the mantra, do the mudras, Om. You'll enjoy that you did. Today is a blue galactic night, guided by accomplishment, according to Dream Spell, and it is as follows. Crown Chakra Day, that is today, Blue Galactic Night. But Blue Night Tribe is about dreams, intuition, and abundance. The gift of your cosmic identity is to be a conscious dreamer, an inner voyager, a disciple of your own intuition, an agent of plenitude. As a Blue Knight, you have the capacity to abide in the sanctuary of self, receiving the rich mysteries within, to embrace the darkness of night and commune with the deep eternal realms, to appreciate the dreamlike nature of reality and comprehend the creative potency of our psyches, to awaken out of the collective spell of materialism, scarcity, and greed by being a vessel of gratitude and generosity, inviting us all to celebrate ourselves as heirs of nature's intrinsic abundance. As we own the powers of our minds in shaping our lives, we learn to lucidly, quote, dream up our truest longings from the inside out. Direction is west, transformation, chakra, solar plexus, and the planet is Saturn. Galactic tone 8 is about harmonizing, modeling, and integrity. Tone 8 represents the patterned harmony of nature's order. The gift of your cosmic identity is to access the power of wholeness. Activate your galactic powers by seeing life from a larger perspective, by realizing our Earth and ourselves as members of a vast galactic whole, by integrating your being with intrinsic harmony of nature, by cultivating an inner sense of harmony and extending that energy out to the world around you, by living your ideals and modeling your core values, by staying loyal to your truth regardless of external influence, yet discovering how to be in accord with the needs of others, by being an emissary of galactic intelligence, by knowing yourself to be a fractal of totality, one note in the song of the galaxy. And today's Blue Galactic Night, the galactic calendar affirmation would be: I harmonize in order to dream, modeling intuition. I seal the output of abundance with the galactic tone of integrity. I'm guided by the power of accomplishment. I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. So, let's go ahead and talk about some other stuff. Like the Western astrology. My fiance just started looking at Vedic, Haley, and I had minimally done that before. My moon would be in Taurus. My north node would be in Aries with my Venus instead of Taurus. Something shifts, so I don't know how I feel about it. But if you're into Vedic astrology, tell me why or why not. Always interested in knowing more about things. Gemini life. Either system, my sun is Gemini, oddly enough. So today the sun is in Libra, the moon is in Scorpio, Mercury is in retrograde in Scorpio, Venus is in Virgo, Mars is in retrograde in Aries. Let's go ahead and get a card for this Sunday. Hopefully y'all are doing well. I don't know about y'all, it's been intense energies. Trying to deal with awakening to things that already, uncovering what is already true is because of ignorance, I guess, is always a challenge. But what a trip, what an adventure we're on. The Seven of Pentacles. Pentacles are about material things, the world itself, right? So if you're a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, you're naturally going to resonate with Pentacles as a suit. All right, so the Seven of Pentacles, 7 chakras, right? 7 of Pentacles, the patience and kindness required to grow and sustain a life of value and beauty, right? So that's very Libra. It's like, are you being balanced and harmonious towards actualization of beauty? Or is your inner world reflecting your outer world? It is necessarily. So if you're in a chaotic place and you're being jarred by everything, it's like you're not balanced on the inside. And if you're in a place of balance and harmony on the inside, your outer world, however high the waves are going to be and how crazy the storm is, you can walk on that water, right? So this is patiently building with kindness, ultimately kindness, compassion for self and others, patiently building patience and kindness required to grow and sustain a life of value and beauty. 7 of Pentacles, I am carefully bringing things to life. The suit of pentacles is traditionally associated with manifestation and material wealth, while a broader interpretation of wealth is one in which it's kept in the three treasure chests: the body, the mind, and the spirit. The Seven of Pentacles is all about nurturing a vision. A beautiful rose grows from red-hot molten lava, up through a hole in the scorched earth skin, complete with its own ecosystem in miniature. It grows because it has been tended and lovingly willed into existence, regardless of the obvious impossibility. In my own experience, I've seen things I thought were impossible become possible through small, consistent steps, focusing intently on perfecting the next small step while simultaneously never losing sight of the greater vision. The why, the raison d'etre, the reason of existence, and adjustments are made along the way. Each action grows out of the previous action. This is the causality, right? Cause and effect. Like the miraculous process of growing a baby, just 2 cells multiply through a simple consecutive process of doubling into the 2 trillion cells that make life. The gardener pictured is a gentle, accomplished, dedicated, and above all supremely patient. Very Libra Sun, very Virgo in Venus, right? They're like meticulous, diligent, practical, in the dirt. He possesses the magic touch of bringing things to life in the most hostile of conditions. Life, too, can present hostile conditions out of which we must grow and nurture a vision of ourselves. Many do not pay exquisite attention to the details and fail to nurture the young, tender life force. Opportunities don't sprout, and possibilities remain buried. In the distance, we see the magical beanstalk leading to a magical city in the clouds. This represents the exponential growth of intelligence into the clouds and beyond. Intelligence now residing in the ether has grown incrementally out of the binary numeral system that was invented over 300 years ago, developing from analog to digital to atomic, eventually to spiritual technology, and back home to the epicenter of God. In us, consciousness moves in one great circle, from pure energy to atoms to single-cell entities, multi-cell organisms, self-consciousness, super-consciousness, and back to God consciousness. The potential exists to move from ignorance to unity through the vessel of life. And that's why we have to look at life as an initiation process, as an adventure of a snake eating its tail. It's an Ouroboros. It's infinite. And it's beautiful, but it's through time and matter, through Maya, through illusion, through separation. What a paradox. The potential exists to move into from ignorance, right, just simplicity, to unity, which is the complex simplicity, through the vessel of life. Understand life must be nurtured with seeds of good habits for a radiant future right now. You reap what you sow, right? And this person's sowing, Seven of Pentacles is very much about sowing practically beautiful things in order to grow them for yourself and others. Very Sun and Libra, right? The Seven of Pentacles indicates your vision of life must be nurtured. The situations and circumstances may not be ideal, as in this person's in a desert with not a whole lot of water, but they're still tending their garden. With few skills and resources, you might not have everything you thought you needed, but you have everything you always need, really, so don't think that. Yet with consistent, tender, loving care and pruning, they will grow stronger and see daylight. The delicate shoots of ideas and possibilities will flower. Draw your fellow visionary gardeners to you, distancing yourself from people or situations which stunt your growth. Invest in learning new skills and knowledge. Each one of us deserves to grow rich meaning and purpose out of the soil of life. Life is a neutral soil, and we can tend a garden of beauty. And each of us has a different seed, so each of our different, we're growing different things, but we're all kind of gardeners, if you want to put it that way, right? So we have the ability to really tenderly nurture through patience, loving kindness, magic, right? The magic of life. So the Sun in Libra is about balance, harmony, about relationship, ourselves to what we're nurturing, ourselves to others, ourselves to ourselves, and then what we're nurturing comes up with magic and intense dedication, Scorpio moon. Let's go ahead and get a clarifier with the dreams of Gaia. I'm debating on just doing a couple cards instead of, I tend to do what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in a jam. I might just do 2 cards. I can't tell if all these cards are helping paint a more detailed picture or just convoluting people's minds and distracting them and making them impatient. I like doing it, but also this is for you as much as me, so I'm kind of torn on that front. So what do we got? Integrity, right? This is an integrous situation. They have integrity to keep pruning, keep watering, keep helping their dream grow, and through integrity, through diligence, through work, essentially of the heart, coming from a heart, in spite of circumstances, they will get to where they want to go to ideals. But how do you get there? Through integrity. So, interesting art. This is number 23. So, where are you at 23? I should have looked it up in the glossary. Here it is. All right. Integrity. Keywords: integrity, honesty, honor, character, values, morality, sincerity, consistency, principles, fairness. Fairness, Libra Sun. And values and honesty and character, those things are very Venus and Virgo. Key phrases: act with honesty and honor, walk your talk, everyone deserves a second chance, oppose hypocrisy, dishonesty, cruelty, and injustice, practice ethical and honest behavior, do not play favorites, be the best person you can be, tend your seed and garden the best you can for you. This is about diligence with kindness and patience to tending, right? Do it for love, not for profit. Some things, like I do this card jam stuff, and I'm not getting paid for this, or I do astrology, I get paid pretty minimally. I'm not doing it. I'm doing it for love, not money. Let's put it that way. So do things for love, not profit. Keep your promises. Do not betray a trust. Avoid gossip and speaking ill of others. Do not cheat or take the easy way. Do not allow injustice or cruelty toward innocence. Behavior and actions influence reputation. We all live in a glass house, so avoid judging. Meaning, the integrity card is the 7th of the influence cards. It represents making choices and acting with honesty and honor. Integrity has many forms. There's personal integrity, professional integrity, artistic integrity, intellectual integrity. To have sound personal integrity is to have high moral, ethical, and personal standards and to hold true to your core values regardless of circumstances. It is to stand in direct opposition to hypocrisy, dishonesty, cruelty, and injustice, which can be shadows of Scorpio moon. Like, just being like, I'm going to lie because I'm going to keep secrets. I'm not going to tell the whole truth. I'm going to kill them because I want to, right? Like, let's not do that. In short, you walk your talk. To have sound personal integrity is to be of good character and nature. It is to be authentic and not hide behind any deception or illusion. What you see is what you get. Authenticity is the mainstay of a person with integrity. To have artistic integrity is to do what you love because you love it. Yes, if you are blessed to be able to create it for a living, you should do so, but the basis of creation should always be love, not money. This person is not making and tending this garden because they're going to be rich. They're doing it because they love it. And as part of their meaning. A person with artistic integrity would not compromise themselves or their craft for money. They will always give their audience and clients their finest work because, when they love what they do, they strive without conscious thought to have their current project or creation be their best. Their heart and passion is always their guiding influence. And we've got to be coming from a place of heart intelligence. That's the bottom line. To have professional integrity is to practice ethical and honest behavior in business. It is to accord fellow employees, employers, and customers and clients respect and honesty. It is to meet one's professional duties in a dedicated and responsible manner and always perform your duties to the best of your ability each time and every time. It is to strive to offer a product or workmanship of the highest quality and to be willing to grow, improve, and refine oneself in order to become a master of your craft or the top of your field of expertise. To have intellectual integrity is to live by the very same standards that you expect others to live by. It is to be consistent and treat all with equality. Sun and Libra, balance, right? This is very Virgo. It's practical. It's like this is good for you and others. It is to be just and fair. It is to hold true to your core values in a manner that is consistent and expected. It is to give those around you the same treatment and not play favorites. There should be no arbitrary exceptions, including yourself. Those with integrity do their utmost to avoid hypocrisy, but also know and understand that some of the beliefs they subscribe to cannot always be honored. They aspire, but they do not always succeed, and this does not make them less. It makes them human. Those with integrity are not perfect. Those with integrity are honorable, honest, and accepting of their imperfect state, and do not strive for an impossible ideal, but instead endeavor to be the best person they can be in all areas of their lives in the present moment. You can make promises and be like, I will never do this again, or I will always do this. And it's like, don't do that. Just be as integrous as you can in the personal moment. Are you coming from a place of heart and working in the reality that stands, this illusory Maya thing? Are you tending your garden? Are you watering it? Are you pruning it? Are you being diligent? Is a rose bush looking like a rose bush, or is it a rose bush and you're saying, this is a weed plant, and lying about it, right? Like, don't lie about what you're doing. We all are here in the great work to diligently, continually, honestly, compassionately work on ourselves and our manifestation of self through self, through time and space and material and all this stuff, is our great work for the collective Kubla Khan dream. Be integrous. It's a lot easier to take the difficult, choose the difficult right over the easy wrong. And we live in an age that's self-gratifying, immediate gratification, Machiavellian. The ends justify the means. I'll just say this to get these votes or whatever. It's like, are you being integrous? It's better to be unpopular and true than popular and false. Straight up. So hold to your integrity. Hold to your work, your values, your ideals. You're here to do this work. You know what I'm saying? It may or may not look different for everybody. A rose bush needs very different love and tender care than a cactus, than a palm tree, than, you see what I'm saying, than an orchid. They're all works. They're all flowers. They're all being built up through the heart, through the mind, through the body, through the material. Our lives are our dream, in a sense. And are we living in an integrous way? Venus and Virgo, are we being true, honest? Are we being helpful and practical, right? So the Galactic Heritage card is rejecting emotion. Maybe a shadow of all this is that we get in our heads and we say, I've got to just kind of, forget what I feel in my heart. I want money. I'm not going to do, I got to sell out or whatever. I got to pay the bills. Like, we justify, right? As opposed to like, hey, trust that the universe is going to give you all the properties of building and all the materials you need and all the designs you need as you are in the present moment, fully in heart, in integrity. The universe honors that. If you try to cut corners, and one of the corners to cut is the emotions, right? Rejecting emotion, that's not a good look. Although your ego and your mind will say, that's highly logical. Emotions get in the way. It's like, that's not true. 31, Zeta Reticuli, rejecting emotion past timeline. Humans have a tendency to avoid pain at all costs. However, our emotions are an important function of being human. If we make choices to avoid emotional pain, we end up rejecting all emotions, including the positive ones. That's why living in a haze wasn't ideal for me. It's like, I didn't feel bad, but did I really feel that good? I was kind of just like, right? It's like, I'd rather feel intense joys, and it's not even, we're supposed to be feeling life intensely and pruning the bush intensely and not just avoiding them that's not integrous. It's easy, but it's not integrous. And then sometimes we have to have grace and be like, look, this is too much, I need a break. But get out of your head, get into your heart, and coming from me, that's a big deal. This happened to the Zetas. Life then becomes dull and we feel disconnected from those around us in the universe. Let yourself embrace all emotion, positive and negative. Anger, it's a valid emotion. Fear, it's a valid emotion. Like, let them come. Don't try to avoid them. But also know that they come and go and they're part of the tapestry of life, and there's better and worse ways to operate through these. And that's your karma. That's your choices. That's how you're doing the work. You have different... Integrity is like also a way you describe, like, what's the integrity of an object, and it's talking about its aspects, its specifications, essentially. We all have very different specifications. So somebody hit me up for an astrology chart reading, I can kind of tell you your specifications. Somebody with a water moon is going to have very different integrity needs, in a sense, than somebody with an earth moon. It just is what it is, right? So we're all on this trip, building our life through our desires. Hopefully we're not attaching too much, but building through our imagination, building through ourselves. And hopefully we're building well. We're building through integrity and not devoid of emotion. Even though emotions can feel like encumbrances, even though when in a shadow place, emotions are what cause jealousies and rage and war and stuff. So it's not like all emotions are good in that sense. It's like emotions themselves are kind of neutral. How we're operating from a shadow place, a gift place, or a city place in Gene Key kind of modeling is how these things are apprehended. So, let emotions teach you the lessons you need to learn and enrich your life. Zetas learned this lesson too. Then they had to relearn emotions from humans. If you have pulled this card and are not familiar with the Zeta species, look at the information for card 30. So Zetas are basically like gray aliens. This refers to a specific aspect of their challenge in the past. The early Zeta species, originally from a Vega colony, felt that focusing only on mental development was the way to evolve. They became brainy. It was very Spock from Star Trek. They submerged their emotions and intuitions so profoundly that they lost touch with a vital part of themselves. It was part of who they are, and they denied it. And that's not a good look. The society became extremely unbalanced because of this, and the Zetas lost touch with their connection to the universe and themselves. There is a danger on Earth in the present day that humans will take a similar path. If this card comes up in your reading, take a look at the other cards, as well as your life circumstances. Do you have a habit of rejecting your emotions and pushing them deep inside? I tend to do that. This habit will always result in those submerged emotions spilling out, whether through your health issues or further emotional challenges. Take a good look at your emotional patterns and see if this is a habit in your life. If so, seek to change it and befriend your emotions. The Zetas eventually had to seek help from humans to learn about emotions and begin to reintroduce them into their lives. It is possible that you have also had a relationship with the Zetas and helping them relearn healthy emotional processes. That might be one reason why this card is in your reading, right? So you might, and that's the whole point of like abductions and like night terrors and all this stuff. These are like agreements that we've maybe had with the Greys where they're watching us and taking note or something like that. So we're in the workshop. We're being diligent. It's 7. It's not, it's not a 10. It's not a 1. It's in the middle of the journey. And we have to look at life as an adventure of process. If we bring integrity to it, sometimes the machine doesn't work. Sometimes it takes longer than we thought, but we're diligent. We're fully there for the beauty of the practice of the adventure. Come at it from a place of love. I'm going to play a Beatles song probably because it's all love. Nothing's outside of love. And then it's distortions. Is it fully aware of love? Is it distorted and not? It's still in love, but is it like cutting off from love, cutting off from emotions? Emotions are an aspect of love. It's not all love is. So let's go ahead and get an animal oracle card. What wants to pop? We've got Connection, the tarantula. Let me put this down for a second. Tarantula. That's probably how Spanish people say it. I can't speak Spanish, so I don't know. Tarantula is number 13. Connection. It is time to bring together disparate aspects of your life. Both sides of the scales. It's part of one weighing, right? Disparate aspects. Don't reject emotions. That's a part of your life, right? It's time to bring together the many pieces of your reality. It takes soil, it takes water, it takes light to create this garden and to move forward. It takes integrity to bring it all together and diligence in choosing to do so. It's always a choice. You can always choose to cop out and just dissipate. That's also a choice. Everything is connected. Holographically, quantumly, akashically, however you want to put this. When you are afraid or unsure, it is important to know that you are never alone. You can do magic. We all can. We're magical beings. Never forget that. We're spirits having a material existence or something like that. Not to say materiality is bad. I won't digress too much, but it's like a spiritually imbued reality because we're witness to it. Mythos. The daughter of the great goddess Diana, Aradia, stepped upon the earth charged with the sacred duty of reconnecting the people with their birthrights of balance and love. Balance and love. Very Libra sun. Such was the environment Aradia was born into that old ways were being forced underground. Moon and Scorpio. Secrets, right? Like the old way was being tabooed, essentially. The feminine divine disrespected in the earth's never-ending cycles of the moon and seasons ignored and forgotten. Aradia traveled the lands, walking thousands of miles in the service of her mother, delivering her teachings to more and more women, bringing hope and healing where there was little. One day, as she was waiting for the moon to rise so she could meet with other women under the cover of night for devotionals, Aradia quietly sat in the forest. There in front of her she saw a huge spider, hairy and as big as her hand, weaving a great web. She watched as the shining silk wove back and around, creating a shimmering circle. Aradia saw the spider's web grow wider and bigger and glow in the reflection of the moon. She was reminded that everything was connected. From the moon to the earth, all beings, all people, the rocks, the trees, the flowers were connected by the web of life, the Tao. This was what was being forgotten and what was vital to remember. People had emotionally disconnected from that level and the magic, and they had lost their integrity. We're all part of this web of life, and when we start thinking of ourselves as divided and going for our impulses from that divided place, that's not a good look. That's how we start that's how we start not building our rose garden very well. We have to remember that it takes all the elements to create the project to move forward, to be thankful for all the elements at play. This was what was being forgotten and what was vital to remember. The other famous mythos worth mentioning is the turning of the mortal Arachne into the spider by the goddess Athena. Arachne, a weaver of some note, challenged Athena to a weaving contest. Her hubris ended up being her downfall, and she was transformed into a spider. The name Arachne became the Latin prefix of arachne, which means spider, and is used in the terms such as arachnophobia, fear of spiders, which I have a slight aversion to. The animal. There are over 900 members of the Theraphosidae family, most of which are large and hairy, although many are beautiful and beautifully marked and colored. The word tarantula hails from the city in Italy. Tarantulas, so it's not Spanish, it's Italian, okay. Tarantulas are found across the Americas, in almost all of Asia, Australia, and some European countries. Different species of tarantula range from a leg span of 30 centimeters to a tiny 2 centimeters. The largest tarantula, the Goliath bird eater, can grow beyond 30 centimeters and can have fangs of 3.8 centimeters. It is generally only old world tarantulas from Africa, Asia, Europe, and so on, which do not use their bristly, urticating hairs as a weapon. They have significant toxicity in their venom. New World tarantulas from North and South America have bristles on their bellies that they eject in a projectile manner. That's some Scorpio Moon shit. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to fight you from afar. The bristles are sharp and cause great itchiness in and irritation to humans and can cause death in smaller animals. Tarantulas molt as they grow and will shed their exoskeleton to do so. Males only molt once in their lives, and it will most likely cause their death. Tarantulas webs, so the change is the death, but it's part of their. They can't avoid it. It's part of their work. They'll molt once probably, and they'll die when they do it. But they're staying integrous to their design. If they choose not to do that, maybe if they reject the emotion of being like, oh my gosh, I'm not supposed to do this. Maybe there's worse consequences. I'm not a tarantula. I couldn't tell you. I just said this. Tarantula webs are special in that they are spun using 2 to 4 spinners, the opening where spiders exude the clear and very strong web substance. Most spiders have only one spinneret. The top connecting area of the spinneret is called the spinning field, and in tarantulas there may be up to 100 tiny tubes feeding the web silk, which is still liquid when exuded. The powerful rate of force of release of the silk hardens it almost immediately, creating a malleable but extremely strong building material. So now we're at the magic. Spider magic, and specifically tarantula magic, is protective and connective. Webs don't just trap prey, they support and protect the spider as well. It is a mistake to think that spider magic is evil or dangerous, as very few cultures see the spider in this fashion. When you feel you need greater connection to life, or you need support, particularly in creative matters, ask the spider for help. And with a Mercury retrograde, we might be wanting some creative inspirations like this. Symbology: webs, moonlit webs, fangs, a woman with spider's legs. Status: there are some species of tarantulas that are listed as endangered, including species endemic to Sri Lanka, the United States, and Mexico. So let's get an art oracle card and see what the muses have for us on that front. Yayoi Kusama. She's a Japanese artist. It's an interesting Sun in Libra kind of mode here because she's done something which you'll find out in just a second. That kind of sets her apart for the sake of others. Virgo, Venus, for the health of all, herself included. Yayoi Kusama. The now octogenarian Yayoi Kusama voluntarily lives in a mental institution in Japan. Sun in Libra. I will go commit myself so I don't hurt you guys. Moon in Scorpio. I'm crazy. Psychology, right? And disturbance, taboos. You're not right, quote unquote. Where she draws upon her visions and hallucinations for inspiration. Among the recurring elements of Kusama's work are polka dots, which she describes as the shape that makes us humans, composed of particles, and unites us with the earth and the sun. So we're in a web, like the spider's web, of reality, and it's all quantum, and they look like circles to her. Kusama's infinity rooms are mirrored artistic chambers, like literally rooms of mirrors, artistic chambers that multiply bodies and alter perceptions. Over her long, prolific career, Kusama has led the avant-garde with bold happenings, big ideas, and bright wigs. So she's way into the wigs, apparently. It says, show them your hallucinations, right? Your life is a hallucination. We are all tripping right now. Shocker. You don't need drugs, you're on drugs. Life is drugs. So we're all tripping right now, and your life is a hallucination. Show us what you're doing. This is the 7 of Pentacles. Show us what you're building. Show us your trip. Show us what integrity means to you, right? We're all very differently building little towers of being, and we're diligent and hopefully compassionately and kindly working in that medium of time, space, the Maya, whatever you want to call it. And hopefully we're moving towards integrity in that sense. We're showing others what we're made of without rejecting emotions, right? Without just being like, well, I need to make art, but if I'm not making money, I won't make art. That's not a good look. That's being highly logical, but it's not being true to your heart. Everything's connected. Just like all the polka dots connect humans to the sun and the moon and all the particles quantumly, everything's connected, tarantula. So your work is connected to the great work. What you do in secret is known by the whole universe. There are no secrets. Shocker. Here's a moon Scorpio doesn't want to hear any Scorpios. There's no such thing as a secret. That's an ego flap. It's all known to the whole thing at various levels. So you have a work to do that's revealing itself through your integrous design. You were fearfully and wonderfully made in your mother's womb, as the Bible would say, to do a job. Many jobs possibly, but you're here to be your work. You are working at yourself. Don't run away from emotions, even though you might feel like they overwhelm you or cloud your judgment or all that kind of stuff. Keep them in balance. Have them, but don't succumb to them. Don't destroy them. See what I mean? Come into the middle path. Libra balance. Connection, though. And this is kind of like a mystical connection. Moon and Scorpio. We're all unified through the mystery of life. It's quantum. It's Akashic. However you want to talk about this. It's all a dream. But show them your hallucinations. We're here to show each other what our works and our impressions and our values and all this stuff is. And no one's better than anybody else. It's all good in that sense, ultimately. It's creation, the infinite one, consciousness expressing itself through all sorts of options. And when we kind of look at it that way, we say, wow, the spider is valuable, as is the fly, as is their dance for dominance, as is one eating the other. Like, it's all good. So, today we've got... for the crystal, sorry, I'm a little disheveled. Garnet. You can quantumly entangle with this. You are connected with this in the web of reality on multiple levels. You're from the dirt, the dust of the earth and the stars. This is too. This is just a different vibrational form holding together consistently in the dream for a very different reason, right? Garnet, what it is. Garnets are deep pomegranate to fire redstones that have lit wrists for centuries. Garnets come in many forms like almandine, grossular, and spessartine, to name three. Gorgeous garnets gush with positive vibes and are the perfect sparkly accessories to I got this attitude. And what do you got? The consistency to keep working at your project of life. The things you do in the world are a reflection of how you are inside, as within, so without. Your integrity. This is how you operate, right? This is how you are in the world, in a sense. Where to put it? Any place you want to make something, be it art, love, dollar bills, y'all, or dollar bills, y'all. That's a ODB probably illusion, I think. When to use it? When you feel like the real you is getting lost in the sometimes shallow, often materialistic priorities of likes-driven culture. If you're only creating to impress others and you don't actually care about what you're doing, stop that. But if you care about what you're doing, independently of how many people pay attention to it, keep doing that. You know how many times I've played my guitar or pulled cards or done anything like that, and it's bringing value to my life? That's part of my dream. It doesn't matter if it's famous or has, goes viral or everyone likes it or everybody hates it. It doesn't really matter, right? So if you're kind of getting distracted with a likes-based culture and everyone looking at everyone else and judging each other, get out of that place. That's not integrous. It's not helpful, ultimately. Get into your depth is what Garnet is saying. And the Seven of Pentacles is calling us to get into the depth of our being in our work. What we do is who we are. In a sense, hold on loosely. So it's like if, for example, if I'm a guitarist and all of a sudden I lose my arms in a car accident, I maybe can't still play the guitar, but the thing that I was inspiring the appendage of being a guitarist is still there. I'm an expressing person that's musically inclined, if you want to put it that way, or whatever, right? Beethoven was deaf and he was still a composer. He went into his depth. Music was his joy and his passion, the highest revelation for Beethoven. So it didn't matter if he could hear it or not. It was part of who he was. He stayed integrous. He might have been angry. He might have been fucking frustrated. He might have been depressed. He might have drank. He might have been, all these things, negative emotions. But he didn't avoid the emotions, Beethoven, right? When he went deaf, he kept doing the work he was here to do, which is to inspire us through his music, through his art. That's integrous. In spite of circumstances. Difficult, right? Over the easy wrong. The easy thing would have been become an alcoholic or kill yourself. But Beethoven didn't give in to those emotions, right? He didn't run from the emotions. He imbued them into music. He showed us connections, right? He showed us connections through music that you don't even need to hear. He showed us his hallucinations. His imagination was on display. And even though he couldn't hear, right, he got into his depth, Garnet, with his work. Some of his most beautiful works are his later works when he was deaf, Beethoven. So take it with a grain of salt. You're here to do certain things. It might not always feel good. You might even have a lot of obstacles in your way. You've chosen these things. It's all good. It's to cause refinement. Show the depth of who you are, the depth of your character, the depth of your passion, the depth of your understanding through the integrity of that which you're manifesting in the world through right action, right relationship, right deed, right word, all these things. And appreciate the fact that you're allowed to be on the stage of life to create it all. Some people die in utero. Some people die at a young age. Some people live a long life and are bitter the whole time because they were always comparing themselves to others. Don't do that. You are here to do a specific thing. That is your life. Hit me up for a reading if you want to know what that kind of looks like. And being in your lane, so to speak, and driving the way you're supposed to drive, so to speak, is integrous. That's what you're here for. Show people your hallucinations. Show people your creativity. Show people your passion. Show people your love. Don't bypass the hard times for the logical. Avoiding pain is sometimes not a good move. Sometimes it could be, I guess, but not always. It could be totally unhelpful. Get into your depth, including depths of emotion, depths of creativity, depths of being. We're multidimensional beings, and we're here in a meat suit running around showing each other what we think is happening. What a privilege. No one has the corner on the market. Everybody's trip is valid for themselves, and everybody's ultimately truth is going to be their truth. And there's better and worse ways we can go about doing that. In ignorance and selfishness, or in including others. So I'm going to play a Beatles song, like I said. I'm trying to think of what the song... Oh, yeah. Because today I was reading 35 Gene Key with Haley, and it's just like, all is love. There's nothing outside of love, so everything is the great work. But then it's like, there's nothing you can do that can't be done. It's all done. It's all good. But like, you have the option to play in the dream to show that it's being done. There's nothing that you can sing that can't be sung, right? Like, it's all one thing. It doesn't, in a sense, it doesn't need you, but in a sense, it's asked you to play with it to show it new things. There's nothing new under the sun in a way, but simultaneously, see the paradox, nothing new under the sun, it's all one. So it's your mind isn't going to want to get that, but it's true. So I guess I'll do this version. I haven't seen any of these. I don't even know what key it's in. Da 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 da. Gotta take this out so I can hear myself. Love, 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 love. Oh, I forgot to hit auto scroll. I love that. Haha, here we go. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing that you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. It's right out of my key range. There's nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy. All you need is love. Na, 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 na. All you need is love. Na, 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 na. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Little guitar solo. This is the point. What's not love? All you need is love. You have everything you need. And everything you're doing is needed because it's allowed to be, in a sense. You've allowed it. You permitted it. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. that you can do. Oh, there's nothing that you can know that isn't known. Nothing you can see that isn't shown. Nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. Everybody. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Oh, love is all you need. All together now. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. 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 Right? And the idea is it's all love. And then our distortions of knowing that is why we treat each other for like ego and all sorts of shit. It's we don't remember or believe that. So all we have, we need, we are doing the thing that's necessary. You're never where you're not supposed to be. It's just how are you apprehending that moment? In shadow, in ignorance, in gift, in illumination, but with some fear, in city, in total oneness with it. That's the gene keys, right? So we're always exactly where we need to be. And yet, the paradox, there's nothing you're doing that can't be done. So somebody else can do exactly what you're doing. But they're doing it in the way they're doing it. That's what their existence reflects to you. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Does this make sense? We all have an integrous design. We all have certain lessons we're going to learn. And they, like love is a lesson that I get, romantic love is a lesson that's typical. But that doesn't mean everybody's going to be romantically involved. And some people might go through a lot of divorces, or some people might go through a lot of heartbreaks. But the lesson of love, it remains. That's a part of the integrity of the fabric of reality. Or greed, or delusions, or, hope, all these things. Right? They're all integrous parts of the nature of the reality, and they all look different to the beholder. This person's beholding in the totality of the holographic thing. Show people your hallucinations. This guy is like, oh, I got this idea. I think of a castle on a cloud, and I'm going to make a little song talking about this. I'm going to water it, and oh my gosh, it's reflecting the higher dimensionality. That's the integrousness of that person showing us their reality. We're all connected, so in some weird way, you don't have to really do anything, but we've called each other upon this stage of life to represent ourselves in our dream, right? Don't overly attach to that. Don't trip out. But at the same time, we're all connected, so everybody's contribution is equally valid. Don't bypass emotions, because emotions make us feel intelligence and frequencies that we wouldn't if we just went to logic. And the Zetas are saying there's consequences if you do that. We're coming back in time, according to Bashar and stuff, and looping up with you and getting emotions through humans because we shut off that part of ourselves. Don't do that. Don't just pursue things in the world because they're going to make you money and you don't love them. That's logical. That's not heart, right? That's bypassing emotions. So bring love, tenderness, kindness to all the actions you have. That's the integrous thing to do, right? And know that your work, however small, however big, whether you're leading a nation or building a sandcastle, it's connected. So do it with, chop wood, carry water. In the Bible, it says something to the effect of like, do all the things for the glory of God. Like, do everything you do for love. Don't bypass the emotions. That's a bad look. Show people your hallucinations. Show people your trip. Aren't we glad the Beatles told us all the fucking things they came back from on all their LSD trips and stuff like that, and the epiphanies they had, right? Get into your depth, though, with Garnet. So your life as a living work of tenderness and care and compassion is the depth through which you should be. You represent where you're at. Sometimes you have hermit mode. Sometimes you have I'm on the stage, look at me, Leo mode. But the point is you're always a work in progress. And your work represents where your vibration is. So be integrous. Difficult rights over easy wrongs. You'll thank yourself later because it's connected to everything. So you can learn people will learn from your mistakes as you can learn from people. So why, trip out on things that are avoidable? Don't bypass your emotions. It's a bad look. Show people what you're about. Show people your dreams, your hallucinations, your nightmares, your frailties. It's all good. We need to know everything you have inside of you. It's known anyway. The illusion of separation makes us think, well, I'll keep this to myself, and they don't know that secret. It's like everybody knows. We're constantly entangled. It's all in love. It's all one consciousness. Get into your depth, though, because you are here as an incarnate being to represent one frequency of the dream, and we need you to be fully who you are. You're always fully who you are, but there's better and worse ways to do that. Shadow, gift, city in Gene Keys, that kind of analogy. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Got some podcasts today. Violet Rogue is coming back on. Roig, I'm forgetting how to pronounce her last name. She's cool. She's coming on the podcast, as is uh, David Santucci, a vegan psychonaut. Cool guy. I've read his wife and his chart, Sinistry, and his chart. He called me the other day during a mushroom trip and was like, "Oh, tell me what you think." So cool guy. They're coming on the podcast. That should be good. And hit me up for readings if you want. I love giving them. People like getting them. 5 stars only. Love is all you need. Love is all there is. Get yourself right with that perspective, and it'll change the way in which you water the garden of being. And you will say, I'm there. I'm always there. I'm continually there in the journey of sequentiality. Yay, it's the journey of being that I'm about. Yay, it's the growth. It's that work. Right? Don't avoid work. Even if you're avoiding work as work, you have to work at play, in a sense, work at avoidance. So you're here to be something specific, be that thing. That's the most integrous thing you can be all you can be, and be all you are. You're interconnected with everything, so don't think you're too special, but know that you're integral. Simultaneity, both and Libra Sun kind of thing. Don't hide your emotions. Don't hide from them. Be logical, but don't hide from them. Balance Sun, Libra. Even if your emotions are intense, Moon and Scorpio. Like, it can be overwhelming sometimes, but you need those lessons. Show people your hallucinations. Show people your dream, and get into your depth. We're here to uncover the eternal now of the one consciousness, and that's just the beautiful part of it. It is what it is. So enjoy the ride and try to treat yourself and others with kindness and compassion. Avi, have a good day.